Hello fellow homebrewers, and welcome to Brew Days Done Quick, where I'm going to take you real quickly through the brew day process, show you the recipe, and then get to the important part, the tasting. Is it any good? Today we're brewing up a lager, and here we go. Start by heating 7.5 gallons of water to 160 degrees. This will be our strike temperature to achieve 154 for our 60-minute mash. This 60-minute mash will comprise of 50 minutes at 154 degrees and 10 minutes at 170 degrees. This will just help everything flow easier into the kettle. You don't necessarily have to do that last step. From here, we pour in our grains. Today we're using 9.5 pounds of Heidelberg. You could also use Pilsner, just something nice and light. 10 minutes into the mash, I took a pH reading and found that I was very high at 6.1. We want to hit 5.2 to 5.4 for best conversion, so I added 10 milliliters of lactic acid. This brought the pH down to 5.6. Once mashing was complete, I pulled the grains and let it drain into the kettle. My goal was to hit 6.8 gallons with a gravity of 1.037, and we did get pretty close to that. From here, we go ahead and set it to boil, and once we hit a boil, we add our first hop addition. This is 0.75 ounces of Magnum. 15 minutes from the end of our boil, we add a Whirlflock tablet. This will just help clarify the beer and make it nice and clear. And finally, at the end of our boil, we add 1 ounce of Mount Hood hops. From here, we cool it down to yeast pitching temp. Today we are using SafLager W3470. We are using 2 packets for this though. Reason being that lager yeast at colder temperatures needs more cells to ferment clean. So just keep that in mind. Alright my friends, that was the first iteration of Brew Days Done Quick. Makes it a little faster on my end for editing and hopefully makes it a little quicker on your end in case you're doing this for your brew day. Let me know in the comments below what you think. But let's get to talking about this beer. Thanks to the Mount Hood hops that we used in this, I like to call this In the Hood Lager. We'll go ahead and take a look at this guy. It is crystal clear. You can see right through it there. I don't know if you can see on your end, but on my end, definitely can see my hand on the other side of it. Now, this has been sitting for several weeks. I'd say probably 5 or 6 weeks at this point. So it does make sense that it cleared up really nice. Let's get into the flavor and the aroma though. Definitely, it's kind of balanced on the malt and the hop character in this one. The malt being almost kind of like there's a slight funk smell to it, but mostly it's that floral smell off of the Mount Hood hops. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Clean. It's crisp. It's clean, nice little bit of carbonation bite in there. Of course, that's due to my carbonation levels, which is about 12 to 14 psi in that range. But overall, just a nice, refreshing drink. You do get just a hint of that funk that I mentioned before in the aroma, but it's nothing that's too overpowering or anything. I will say though, the floralness of the Mount Hood hops it's a little more than my liking. And funny enough, after the Top Cutter IPA recipe and how floral those Laurel hops were, I'm starting to learn that at least my personal taste, I'm not a huge fan of the floral hops. If that's your thing, by all means, this is a great hop to use in a beer. But I would say if you wanted less floral, maybe just swap out that Mount Hood with something else, like typical, you could do like a Styrian Golding maybe, or maybe even a Fuggle, or the world is your oyster. You can do whatever the heck you want with this beer, but I would say the smash beer portion, it worked out great. It's just that hop character that, at least personally, is not my taste. Oh, the other note on this guy, it came to 4.6%. I did ferment this at 64 degrees, but under pressure, which helps kind of reduce those esters from being produced, any sort of off flavors. And I did give it a very healthy diacetyl rest at the end, which is where you basically take it from any lower temperatures that you were at if you're lagering, In my case, I wasn't, but I still bumped it from that 64 degrees during fermentation to, roughly 70 to 72 degrees. And that just kind of helps the yeast to reactivate and clean up their mess that they may have left behind. Kind of that diacetyl is kind of a buttery, popcorn, slick. It's a weird taste that you'll get in the beer. Not preferred by any means. Some can taste a little more than others, but either way, it's a good idea to give it just a little bit of a rest at the end, and it'll clean up real nice. Well, I think that's all I have to say about the In the Hood lager. Let me know what you think if you brew it yourself, and always feel free to leave comments down below and let me know what you thought. All right, until next time, cheers.